Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, click that little button down below. It really helps me out. And let's just get into it. So today I'm going to be talking about Sam Smith and what they announced on social media the other day, which is super exciting. So for those of you who don't know, Sam Smith is a wonderful singer from the UK, and on social media 2 days ago, they said that their gender pronouns are they, them, which you might have heard me already referring to them as. And I want to respond to this in 3 different ways. So the first is that this is super exciting. This is really big news for such a huge celebrity to be public and vocal about their gender pronouns and about their gender identity. This is amazing. This is not the first time that somebody with a public platform has come out as non-binary or used they, them pronouns, but Sam is a huge worldwide celebrity that has a really big platform, and so this is just incredibly exciting, and I hope springboards a lot of change and conversation. I know it won't all be positive, which will bring me into my third point, but I think it's good just to at least get people talking about this. Sometimes there's a unfair pressure on celebrities to come out and use their platform to advance change, which is super important to have happen, but I think we also have to recognize that they are individual people and they will be ready to come out whenever they are. I'm using they in the plural sense here, like celebrities, whether they're queer or not, whatever identities they have, it has to be in their own time or else it won't accelerate anything, because then it's not going to come from a place of being ready to talk about the identity and the issues and advance the narrative. So I'm really glad that Sam was able to come out on their own terms and not have it be a leaked story or some sort of something that a friend announced to the media that then they had to respond to, but it just could come from them when they felt ready. And even despite feeling ready, as they acknowledge in the end of their post, like, it's still scary, it's still gonna be really strange and nerve-wracking. So the second thing I want to talk about is the positive response. So amazing. In the comments, there's like a lot of people coming out to show support, saying that they love them and that this is amazing to hear and they feel validated and supported, and this is just like, you know, it's stirring a lot of really good energy in the queer community, I think, and that's wonderful. And I hope that that continues. I hope that people feel like this is just one of many changes to occur, but I also, without taking away from the celebration of Sam's coming out, want to just keep putting the people that maybe don't have as big of a platform or that are doing work that's not as widely recognized, I want to put them at the forefront of these conversations of transness, queerness, non-binary, gender pronouns. All of the conversations that we have around Sam are wonderful, and they can't be the only conversations that we have, though. We also have to talk about the gender nonconforming and trans people of color that are out there and facing a lot of harassment and violence. We have to talk about the people in the community that are doing a ton of work and it's not as globally recognized and celebrated. And I love that in Sam's post, they use their platform to shout out to other people in the queer and gender nonconforming communities to uplift and celebrate these other voices that are not as recognized. We just can't forget that these identities exist and have existed long before big celebrities come out as them. So gender nonconforming, trans, queer, gay, lesbian, bi, like all these things that are amazing to find in representation in the media don't exist only because they are now represented in the media. They've existed for a long time and have affected people's lives in many ways, not to detract at all from the celebration and the conversation sparked by Sam, but just to make it inclusive and make it involve people of all different walks of life who, like I said before, might not have this enormous platform to speak about their identities and come out and be met with a bunch of celebration and a bunch of hate, which is the third thing that I want to talk about. Not surprisingly, although disappointingly, there were a lot of really negative comments in Sam's coming out post. A lot of stuff talking about DNA and science and how there's only male-female categories. And I just want to spend a quick minute talking about that because it's important to acknowledge the reality of the world that we live in right now. For people that are conservative or hesitant about gender identities and feel like it's just nonsense and confusing, try and root it in respect. If you respect just humans in general and want to make them feel safe and comfortable, which I truly hope everyone does out there, because if you lack that, I think that's a deeply concerning thing that you should definitely address with therapy. If you hate Sam for what they are doing and just feel like they're taking up space and being unnecessary and demanding, I ask that you practice compassion and empathy. I really just want it to be rooted in respect. It needs to be rooted in respect and a desire to let other humans live as they feel and as they are, not in a way that's going to harm other people, but Sam's not doing any harm. Sam is just doing their thing in a way that feels right. In a similar sense, people that are queer or people that are queer allies have to practice a little bit of compassion and empathy towards the identities and viewpoints of things that we don't understand. I don't understand being raised in a really conservative religious environment because that was not my experience. And so I don't understand the hate or the harassment, but I have to empathize and recognize that that is somebody else's experience. That feels true for them, and it's not going to be productive to just like try and rip them from their side over to mine. I have to sort of meet them in the middle and figure out what in common we do have. Do we have a shared value? Do we have something that we both enjoy? Is there some way to like find a human bridge between very differing beliefs? I really think that's the only way to minimize harm and hate, is by just saying like, hey, you have your experiences, I respect that, let's talk about how that informs what you believe. And not in a way where I'm going into a conversation just like, I'm gonna convince you that I'm right, but in a way just going in being like, hey, we're both humans, stuff is confusing sometimes, let's just have a chat and see if we can find something to agree on, and maybe find better ways to express what we're feeling than hateful internet comments. I really thank you, Sam, for all that you are doing, and I respect you, and I am here supporting you and your music, and I hope that you have really great support around you, and I'm excited to see what you do. And everyone else, thank you so much for everyone else, as if Sam is watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being here with me. Thank you for taking the time to think about these identities and topics. I do want to make more videos about non-binary identities because as somebody who resonates with that term in some ways, but not every way, I think it's just interesting to talk about it because, yeah, it's really confusing sometimes. It is and it isn't, you know? It's like so simple and it's so complex. So the only way through it, I think, is to talk and to just support one another and get a little bit outside of your comfort zone, you know? Engage with somebody that doesn't believe exactly what you believe. Those people are out there, as is evidenced by these Instagram comments on Sam's page, is like, we disagree on a lot of things. We have to talk with one another, approaching it from respect and love. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful days. Ta-ta!